Okay, so this is lesson 6, order of operations and evaluating expressions. So by the end of this lesson, we're going to learn to simplify expressions involving exponents, parentheses, multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction. And we are also going to learn how to use the order of operations to evaluate an expression. So this is already filled in for you in the notes, so we're just going to kind of go through this, but it says a power has two parts, a base and an exponent. So that means, or a power is like x squared. That entire thing represents a power. The exponent tells us how many times to multiply the base. So this 2 is our exponent. Tells us that we're going to take the base and multiply it twice. A base is what is actually being multiplied. So in this power, right, x is our base. So if I was to expand this out, we'd write the base twice based off of this power. It would be x times x. Okay, and then we're going to talk about simplifying, which just means we're going to rewrite expressions with the least amount of terms. We're going to try to condense our work so that we have the least amount of things written down. So to get a little further into bases, exponents, powers, coefficients, all things like that, this is a nice little color-coordinated way to remember what everything means. So the first thing is a coefficient. Now, coefficient is what's in red. It's the number in front of our power. So that would be, in this case, 5. And I'm just going to add a text box here, and I'm going to write that down for you. It's the number in front of the power. Or if you want to make it easier for yourself to remember, the variable, the letter, right? It's the number in front of it. So that's the coefficient. The base is the bottom number or term and in this case, that would be x. So it's this black x. The exponent is what's in blue, right? That's how many times we're multiplying the base. And then the power is this whole thing. Notice I did not include the coefficient because the power is just the base, the x, and the exponent put together. It is not the coefficient. So now let's say I took this and I rewrote it like this. And I put 5x, right, in parentheses, and then put a squared at the top. So now my base is whatever the parentheses are touching, which in this case is what's inside the 5x, right? So now my base in this one, my base is 5x, and my exponent is 2. Notice the difference between what we did before and then what's here. Okay, so now we're going to talk about order of operations, which in your notes, guys, this is all filled in for you. So you've definitely done this last year. This is PEMDAS. So the P in PEMDAS stands for parentheses. So you always work on parentheses first. Then you move and you work on exponents. Okay, we do our exponents next. Then we have multiplication. And then division. And with multiplication and division, guys, it's important to understand that we work left to right, which you'll see this happen today. And the same thing happens with addition and subtraction. We work left to right. So this is addition. And then this is subtraction. And again, this was already filled in your notebooks, so you don't have to do any writing here. Okay, so PEMDAS is what we're going to use. We are going to use our calculators a little bit, so if you don't have it with you, I would just pause, go grab it. We're going to check our work with the calculator today. Okay, so example 1 has 4 different questions, and it says, using PEMDAS, simplify the expression, show your work. I want to see the work, and then we're going to check it with the calculator. So when we do the first one here, we are going to remember PEMDAS. So in this case, we do not have parentheses. Okay, we do not have exponents here either. do we have multiplication or division? And we do. We have multiplication, right? We have 3 times 5. So 3 times 5 is 15. Too spotty there. I'm going to redo that. So 3 times 5 is 15. Okay, we can bring down what's left, which is that 2 and the plus. And then we move to the A and the S, which is going to be addition or subtraction, which again we do have. We have addition. So 2 plus 15 is 17. Okay, now if we go over to B, we do have parentheses here, which is our first thing that we're going to do. So we are going to do our parentheses first. So 6 minus 12, 6 minus 2 would be 4. Everything else is going to come down. So we have a third, we have division, and we have a 2. So now parentheses are done. Now we have exponents, which again we do have here. So we're going to do exponents next, which would be this right here. So we're going to do 4 thirds, or 4 to the third, which is 64. And then we're going to bring down that division of 2. And when we divide 64 by 2, we get 32. Okay, so really quick, I just want to pull up the calculator now and show you that you could check both of these with the calculator. You would type in exactly what you see. So for A, we would do 2 plus 3 times 5 to get 17, which is exactly what we got. And then for the second, for B, we would do parentheses. So right here, parentheses is here. 6 minus 2, close the parenthesis. And then to get the exponent of 3, we use this little caret key. So caret 3, arrow down to get out of the exponent, and then divided by 2. And you get 32. Okay, so you can always check your work with the calculator, but remember, if something says to show your work, you have to show the steps. Okay, so C is a little bit harder because we're dealing with these larger fractions that have multiple operations in the numerator and denominator for some. So when you're seeing something like this, you have to kind of think that those numerator-denominator terms stay together. There's parentheses around them. You have to do those first. So when you're looking at this top one, in the parenthesis now, you have exponents. So we're going to do 2 to the 4th, which is 16. We're going to rewrite everything else. And now we still have to do more on the top here. So let's do 16 minus 1, which is 15. So if I rewrite that down here, 15 divided by that 5 gives us a final now answer of 3. Okay, and now the next one, same concept. We want to keep these together. There's multiple operations on the top and the bottom here, so they all need to go in parentheses. So we have to simplify the top first, then simplify the bottom, then finally divide. So on the top, we have exponents first, so let's do those first. So 3 to the 4th would be 81. So if I rewrite, the 4 and the plus would stay the same. Then I have that simplified now 3 to the 4th, which is 81. And then everything else on the bottom, we're going to keep the same for now. And now when you're looking, we still have multiple things to do. So now we're going to do the addition on the top. So 4 plus 81 would be 85. Divided by, and we can simplify the bottom now. So let's do 7 minus 2 to get 5. And now when we put this in our calculator to get the final answer, we would get an answer of 17. So now for these, I want to also show you how to do them in the calculator. And I wrote this on the copy of notes, but To do this, when you use the calculator and you're dealing with multiple operations and fractions, please use the alpha y equals enter function. And what this does is it allows you to pull up a fraction. So these are the buttons you would hit in the calculator, and I'm going to show you them now, but just so you have them written, I would definitely write them. Okay, so we're going to hit the green alpha button here. We're going to go up, hit y equals, which is that top gray button, and we're going to hit enter. And now you'll notice that a physical fraction pops in. Now you can just type what your paper said, which was 2 raised to the 4th, right? You have to make sure you arrow down, okay, minus 1, and then arrow to the bottom of our fraction and type in 5. Hit enter and you'll get 3, which is exactly what we got. So again, you're checking your work. So now, if you're at home and you're watching this or trying this, my advice is to get your calculator out and type in as I'm doing it so that you're used to being able to type this in. So for the second one, for D, we're going to do alpha y equals enter again. And we're going to type in 4 plus 3 raised to the 4th power. And now we're going to arrow to the bottom of our fraction. Notice the blinker now is on the bottom. We have 7 minus 2. Hit enter, and we get 17, which is what we got when we did it by hand. Okay, so this is, again, your check. Use the calculator to check your work. Okay, so let's try the next one. Again, it says to show our work. So we need to show the work, then check it. So the first thing I see here is that I have parentheses. I don't have parentheses, but I do have exponents. So 4 squared is 16. Everything else here we're going to rewrite and bring down. We have division of 2. Okay, now we're going to continue. We did our exponents. Now we're looking for multiplication or division. So here I have multiplication and division. And when we have both, we're going to work left to right. So I'm going to do 5 times 7 first, which is 35. Okay, then I'm going to do 16 divided by 2, which is 8. And then I have to remember to bring down that subtraction. Okay, now when I subtract those two, I get an answer of 27. Okay, and again, when I take my calculator out, I'm going to check it. 5 times 7 minus 4 squared, arrow out of the exponent, divided by 2. And I do get 27, so I know I'm right. Okay, now the next one. Again, I'm looking for parentheses, don't have them. Exponents, don't have them. Multiplication or division. Well, I do have division. I have division right here. So 25 divided by 5 would be 5. Everything else would just come down. So 12 and minus. And then when I subtract them, I will get an answer of 7. So again, I'm going to check it in the calculator. I have 12 minus 25 divided by 5, and I get an answer of 7, which is what I got when I did it by hand. Okay, so now that you have somewhat of an idea of how to do this, I would pause the video and try example 3 on your own. Show your work again, show your work, and then start the video back up and check it. Okay, so when we're looking here, we do not have parentheses. We do have exponents, so I have 3 squared here. So 3 squared is 9. And then we bring everything else down before we continue. So 14 plus a 5 times 3 and a minus here. Now I'm looking for multiplication or division. We did our exponents, so we're looking for multiplication or division, which we do have. So here we have multiplication. So we're going to do 5 times 3 next, which is 15. And then again, everything else will just carry down. So minus 9 at the end and a plus 14 at the beginning. And now we have addition or subtraction, and we're going to work left to right. So we have 14 plus 15, which is 29. Bring down that minus 9. And when we subtract these, we get 20. So again, try it in the calculator. Let's see what we get. 14 plus 5 times 3 minus 3 squared. And I get 20 as an answer. Okay, so number 4 says the student simplifies an expression as shown below. So they do all the work. It first says to find the error. So they didn't do something right, that's saying. And then it says to simplify the expression correctly. So now they want you to do it yourself. So when I have questions like this, what I like to do is redo them and then compare the work. So if I rewrite the original expression here, and then I do the work correctly using PEMDAS, I would first do exponents. So that's 3 squared, which is 9. Everything else would come down. And remember, you can compare it as you're going or you can compare it at the end. So if I compare their line 2 with my line 2, they're identical. So far, so good. We did exponents. Now we're looking for multiplication or division. I only have multiplication, so now I'm going to multiply 8 times 2 to get 16. Okay, everything else is going to carry down. So 23 minus, and then a plus 9. And again, now I can stop and I can compare my lines. This is my line 3. When I go to their line 3, they don't look the same. So what did they do? It looks like what they did was they subtracted 23 minus 8 to get 15 instead of multiplying. So there's your error. So the student subtracted before multiplying. Right? That's the error. They subtracted before multiplying. So if we continue this problem now, we would do left to right, subtraction, and then addition. So I would subtract first technically here, because if I follow PEMDAS, we work left to right. So 23 minus 16 would be 7 plus 9. Now we add to get 16. And notice we do end up with 2 separate answers here. And again, I can check with my calculator and type it in. I could do 23 minus 8 times 2 plus 3 squared. And you get 16. Okay, so this is the end of lesson 6, day 1. Please take your time, go back, rewatch. This is important, especially the utilizing the calculator part. So go back and try them all on the calculator if you didn't already do that. It will definitely be helpful for the future.